She said sometimes, depending on if they've got the smaller schools, they'll concentrate in one area and they'll hit 2 schools on a Monday, just to get those done. But typically, she said that it's about anywhere from 100 to 200 students. So for them to go in and do that during the school year is not a problem. But now, and it comes out to about 11,000 students that they screen as far as 3rd graders.
Right.
Well, you've got to double that.
Gotcha.
So that's got them in a little bit of a panic.
I can understand.
So very, very excited. And I'm just hoping that, John was kind of coaching me before the meeting and saying, well, maybe we can get in the door with, I don't know who's doing their hearing screenings. That I don't think we're ever going to get in the door with, because they have audiologists employed with the school system.
Right.
And they have all that equipment. So, and that's actually a better deal for us, because the hearing tests cost at least $1 per student for the disposables, because they have to change out the covers and all of that. So vision is definitely the way for us to go. And if the Lighthouse is on board with, helping us go to LCIF and secure more machines or more money for machines. So of course, then that gets me thinking we need more money to buy machines, so.
I broached this idea with a guy in Pooler that was head of this a few years ago. And it just seems to me, and this was at least 5 years ago, as sophisticated as our phones are, that they can read your irises, you would think that somebody could do the software to do these eye tests for us.
They're trying.
Huh?
Yeah.
They're trying.
Are they?
Yes.
Cool.
But these, with what these machines read, I mean, it's interesting, because what we found out is Cobb, from what I've said, talking to John, is that on the Cobb, like at Cobb County, they're literally just doing pass fail. As far as we know, I mean, nobody in the county is using the spot screeners. That's why she's interested. She was looking to purchase them for the county and, find people, and figure out how to get them all manned, because they're using a different method right now. And so when I told her we not only had machines, but we had people that were trained to use them, that's really got her attention, that we could show up for free and do this for her. And she's like, okay, yeah, let's talk. Let's
what a great effort is to train a bunch of people before that day next year. I mean,
yeah, I mean, well, and I feel like it's a huge draw, because, when Pete mentioned it to me early on, I think even before I became a Lion, I'm like, that sounds like so much fun to be able to, that's a great way to volunteer. I want to get involved with that. How do I do that? How do I get trained? How do how do we make those things happen? So I can't be the only Lion who's been sitting in the wings waiting for somebody to say, hey, we're going to offer the training on these machines.
Right.
So, and we only need to, and from the numbers that they're showing, normally John would go in with a team of 5 or 6, and that's to screen 1,000 kids. If we're only screening 300 to 400 kids, we're not going to need 3 machines at one school.
Plus, you don't use 5 certified people. Right.
You don't even need 5 certified. You need whoever's going to run the machines have to be certified.
Right.
Then the part of your team are one's handing out the little tickets with their codes on them so that the screeners can pull their, can search for the child on the database, and the other's doing what John calls positioning. So there would probably still be an opportunity for them to come and understand the process. They may not need to specifically know how to work those machines, but understand how it works, have it, you can use each other as practice.
Right.
And then you're out of those trained screeners, we're going to need one from each club that is techie enough that understands how to work Excel and CSV files to be able to gather the data off the machines, sort them, and spit the information back out to the schools. Because John right now, he's the one that developed it, and he's only using it at Norcross. My understanding is any other club that's using it isn't utilizing the full potential of that equipment.
Right.
What a great recruiting tool. Oh, we need some tech guys.
Yes.
Whoever thought we need to go after tech guys, you know?
So anyway, thank you for sending last night's video, because I wasn't able to hear part of the meeting. And before we get started on this, I want to clarify something with Brian, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Your ballot you listed last night did not include a vice president.
That is because LCI does not ask for a vice president.
Aha.
But you have a plan for getting one. That's what you're saying.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
That's
I-
all I wanted to know, because I know you and I've had that conversation. So I went back and listened to it because I was like, oh man, I missed that part. And then I listened, I'm like,
Yeah, no.
what he's missing.
LCI only asks for a president, treasurer,
Okay.
secretary, membership chair, and LCIF chair.
Awesome. Okay. Well, like I said, I just wanted clarification in case I was, just totally missing something. So no worries.
And before we get off, Brian, did you chat with Ryan today?
No, I have not chatted with Brian yet. No.
Ryan, not Brian. Ryan.
I sent a message out to Ryan. He wants to schedule something next week, so we're going to do that.
So you look, regardless of whether we get him in the club or not, he's got the potential to do some big stuff with what he's doing there. I don't know if he realizes that.
Oh,
Well, I think he does. I mean, the way he was talking about being able to do this not only in our county, but the other counties in Metro Atlanta.
Yeah,
It's massive.
he needs to focus it more and get it zeroed in.
You're putting out the fires the things you can handle in front of you, especially with as small of a crew as he has. But you couple that with Table Ministries offering to those kids to show them there's a life outside of that, of what they're seeing now. There's things outside of that bubble.
Oh yeah. Well, plus the opportunity to stay in touch with them.
Oh
and more, mentor them.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just like I told Jennifer when I was talking to her, I said, the thing is I said, I bet you money there's not a child, unless they've specifically had an issue with vision or something like, they don't know who the Lions are. So what a wonderful opportunity to have Lions, if we're able to get something rolling, because I totally pitched her the idea of a countywide eyeglasses drive in the elementary schools, bringing in, having people bring in their glasses, and if we can start now in those third graders, if we're there every year, it's not just going to be the third graders that see us walking around, or being there, or wherever this project goes, but it also creates, there may be other things we can do with them, canned food drives or other things with other initiatives that we can totally build those relationships with the counselors. I'm already in with 2 counselors in Tequila because I do that for Angel Tree. They already know me. So if we start building those relationships with the counselors, then we get those kids to where the Lions are like, oh yeah, I know who they are. They get to middle school, Leos.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, drinking from the fire hose again. I'm sorry, gentlemen, but
No.
It's all right. It's pretty exciting stuff.
This is exciting and fun.
Sorry, Brian.
I said it is exciting and fun.
Yes, it is. And gives you reason to get more people.
Yes.
Well, when you have big stuff like this and you're, it's one thing to say, hey, look at when we started beating the drum and saying, hey, we're giving out all this food, who can help us? And we had 50 people standing in front of us going, what do you need?
I know. And I've been casually going around my neighborhood recruiting guys here for the golf tournament. And then I'm also going to go back to them for when we do the food drive and other things too. So
yeah, but it's one of those, like I said, I think it's, I think if all they ever think of with the Lions is that we're constantly trying to raise money, it puts a bad taste in people's mouths.
It does.
But if they see the fruits of the labor, bingo.
yeah.
No.
Well, that is one of the, to your point, one of the challenges is being in the Rotary Club is that's what they're all about. More so than yes, they do some volunteering, but it's more about how much money can we raise.
Yeah. No, I get that. And like I said, and as a total side note, my neighbor had bought onions from Kiwanis last year, and she called me. She goes, "Isn't it onion time yet?" I said, "Actually, it is onion time." And I went out to the website. They did not. They still have the Lawrenceville Co-op listed as a recipient of money. They didn't change it from last year after they so graciously allowed us to, help promote it. So
Right.
I was very glad of that. So we probably need to I need to get something. The posts they did on Facebook this year are kind of weird. So I probably we need to put something together to put on Facebook to let people know it's Vidalia onion season.
All right. Hey, Brian, are you keeping up with the Facebook thing?
Yes, I'm keeping up with Facebook. Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
I jumped in
I
and
got-
screwed with it too.
I got some help today.
Okay. Because you remember, I don't do Facebook, so I can't do
Right,
anything
right.
for it.
Right.
Yeah, I saw something jumped on my screen, and I'm one of those, if I see it, I'll go ahead and post it because I'll just beat Brian to the punch. So yeah, I reposted
I have no problem. I have no problem when that happens.
I know you don't. Otherwise, you'd have turned off my access. I know how it rolls.
She's been blocked before, Brian, by better guys than you.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk golf tournament.
Yes.
So I spent a little bit of time looking at, what we did, what we got, and what we didn't get. And how can we reformat it, one, to make it easy, and two, to just make sure that we're covering all the bases.
Right.
The biggest issues we had last year was we couldn't find a lunch sponsor. And at the end of the day, the one we got came in $1,300 shy of what we needed. I mean, we're still able to cover everything with all the other donations and whatnot, but to have a true lunch sponsor, we estimate lunch is going to cost us about $1,800 or about $1,500. And I always pad it because for that kind of money, I'm also giving them golf registrations. Right. So I'm making sure we're covering our costs at bare minimum to at least, we're going to have to pay for those golfers. So I don't know if we want to look at lowering, my thought is we either need to split it so it's a lower price point, but they understand that there will be two lunch sponsors as opposed to, and you give them the option. If somebody hasn't already claimed it, hey, you got $1,800. We'll let you be the sole sponsor. But I think people see that number and they panic.
Yeah.
I think we should go for it, the whole thing. I mean, and have a backup plan, like you said. I feel pretty hopeful that between Brian and his guys and myself hitting this earlier this year, that we'll get what we need. Okay.
So the other thing that, I tried and that just kind of crashed and burned was the idea of having, gold, silver, and platinum sponsors at big money.
Yeah.
No bites. And again, I get it. It was COVID. People were, being very frugal. Businesses didn't want to be spendy. I get that. So, and I also feel like even though we had some people hit on it, I want to get rid of the sponsor a first responder option.
Okay.
One, because it was set at $100. And again, I think people were afraid to give less because, we don't want that. Even though it's set on the page, any amount is great. We greatly appreciate any dollar amount. So maybe if we put something together that starts at maybe $50, I was thinking, we could do something kind of like using golf terms, like par, birdies, eagles, double eagles. And then my brain went masters. Actually, the only other golf term I could think of that was positive because I don't think anybody wants a bogey.
No.
Well, that you can have fun with that.
So anyway, like said it, par would be a $50 donation, birdies are 75, and just kind of walk up the, so it's easy click. People don't have to think, oh, I'll just do that. And anything above, we could do double eagle at 200 and then do anything above 225 at a higher level. And then not, like I said, I feel like if people go out to the site and the first thing they see is, oh, we want you to donate $2,000. In hindsight, I feel like it turned people off.
Gotcha.
And the smaller amounts, like I said, we got, the biggest one we sold was 1,700.
Right.
Yes.
And then the one after that was 1,100. And then it got down under 1,000. And the advantage to some of that is we get down in those levels, we don't have to offer golf registrations.
Right.
As part of the package.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it makes those bigger ticket items, oh, well, this includes a foursome. Oh, this includes, it makes those more appealing.
Right.
Because otherwise, if they were to buy a sponsorship at $500 and then they decide two of them want to play, well, one of those is tax deductible, the other isn't. So that's why I was trying to put together those packages and I still think if it's something where somebody says, well, I can do this and I really want to play, it's like, well, at that point, I think it's let's have a conversation and we can create a package for you.
Right.
Kind of thing, if we've got corporate sponsors that want to do that. But I looked at it, where was it? My thought was, if we took, there was one of them I think it was lunch I was looking at. If we looked at going after, say, 3 sponsors for lunch at $600 a pop, we would have, hello, honey. What? Oh, no. Oh, my God.
What?
Are you gentlemen familiar with the convenience store sensation known as Buc-ee's?
Yes.
No.
Brian,
Yes.
just one of the many reasons I love you. So my husband saw a video about the ones in Texas.
Right.
And he has been trying, ever since he's seen this during his recovery, he's been wanting to take a road trip because he found one in Fort Valley, Georgia.
Yes.
And I'm like, we are not driving 3 hours so you can go to a gas station. I'm sorry, not happening.
Right.
On our way to Alabama, we're driving down 59, and all of a sudden we start seeing
Buc-ee's.
road signs, Buc-ee's. He's like, oh, there's a Buc-ee's. I'm like, we are not driving out of our way. We have got to get to the Airbnb. Turned out the directions that Waze gave us, when it said to take this particular exit, to head towards the house, there it was. An hour later, we've been in there for an hour. This place is massive, Tom. It is the biggest convenience stores on the planet. I am not kidding you. It is so insane. So he loves it. He thinks that's just the most awesome thing. Well, what he just did was bring me his computer screen and turns it to me, and it says, now open, come to Buc-ee's, Daytona Beach, which is where we're heading at the end of May. I can't get away from this.
Well, it's funny you do those sorts of things. My sister's partner grew up in Texas, and Whataburger, I guess, started there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when we were living in Southeast Georgia, there was one Whataburger in the state of Florida, and it was on our way to the beach. And my sister and her partner had moved to Florida, but it was a 3-hour drive to Whataburger.
Sure.
But every time they came up, we had to go to Whataburger.
Well, they've bought land somewhere either just south or just north of Commerce.
Yeah,
There
so
will be one on 85 between Atlanta and Anderson.
I heard we were going to get like 16 of them here or something like that. Is that right?
I don't know where they're so big. I don't know if they could put 16 of them, but okay.
I heard that they were looking at somewhere around Buford and somewhere around Cumming.
Wow. Buford, I would be surprised because like I said they're definitely, they've already bought the land up for, up past Commerce, which they need something up there. There's not many truck stops or whatever. And they don't allow for trucks. It is not a truck stop.
Right.
Huh.
It's strictly a gas station, but
Oh,
it's
we're
a
talking
gas
about
station
Buc-ee's.
with a Hobby Lobby in it. It's insane. It's got a clothing store in it. It has, oh my God. It's insane. Anyway, so
Like
he's very excited.
Buc-ee's from Ohio.
Huh?
Bucee. Is that
Yeah,
it?
Buccees, Buc-ee's.
Okay.
If you put that in YouTube,
You'll be watching all day.
oh my God, the tours people have done on with YouTube videos going into Buc-ee's, it's hysterical. So that's how Bill found out about it. And the biggest one is in Texas, and it's 65,000 square feet.
Well, everything's bigger in Texas.
Exactly. This one, the one here in Gulf Shores or Foley, I mean, it's not as big, but it's still ginormous. I mean, it was absolutely insane.
So what are they going to do as we change to?
We're going to be eating all three meals here and seeing what's bucket.
So okay, so there's a lot more than just gas.
You need to watch that. That's my favorite one of Nate and Kara. I never say their name right. That's my favorite one because he puts on the suit later and it's fabulous. Okay.
We had it on at the
I'm gonna
beginning.
watch this recording and think I'm nuts. So okay.
All
All right. Back on task. If we, depending on what we want to do, we really don't have anything at the $600 level, but we have 150 for golf, for hole-in-one hole sponsors, 300 for the website, 400 for the bags, 400 for Mulligan tickets as well, $500 for the trophies. Then it jumps to $750 for closest to the pin, then $1,100, $1,700, $1,800.
Right.
So we could probably wiggle down the hole-in-one, but since we've had a sponsor that seemed to, I don't think they came at the end of I don't think Thompson and them showed up. It was the law firm that sponsored it. And I think they backed out at the last minute. So I'm hoping they're going to want to come and actually be a part this year. Right. So there's some potential there.
Yeah, so Elizabeth's husband, by the way.
Yeah. So just, like I said, part of me doesn't want to screw with those numbers and part of me does. So, because lunch is the biggie.
Right.
Well, we certainly give, the Gladiators and the Thompsons the first refusal for each one. Right.
Yeah. And Skipper, because he wanted to do the lunch one, but, all he was able to get out of, corporate was $500. So I don't know if that's going to be the same this year, or if we hit them early, if right. He can get, more money. The other thing is that we've got, with I'm almost thinking that rather than doing $750 for closest to the pin, that we do $600 or do something kind of in between, maybe $700, because closest to the pin, I think, if you remember, is the contest that the golf club ran. Right. We didn't even know they were going to do it because we really didn't have I think we ended up with a last second sponsor for that, and they put on the contest, and then they ended up providing the prize.
Right.
So if they're willing to do that again, then I'm perfectly willing to give them credit, and make them the contest sponsor, and then just call it a day, and not push that. I mean, granted, that prize is only worth, for 4 people, it's only worth about $200, but it's, as a sign of goodwill, and they were very gracious last year and basically discounted the bottom line ticket for us too. Mm-hmm. So not that I'm expecting it this year, but we're also going to have more golfers. So I'm hoping that'll level out the playing field.
Well, look, our first our first attack should be to go back to the people that were sponsors last year and say, we hope we hope you had a good time last year. Or are you in this year?
Yeah,
And do that quickly, and then we'll see where we are. How's that?
that's fine. I just want to be able to get the pricing up on the website because I am purposely
Yeah.
putting all of that on the paperwork. Now, did you guys get the emails I sent?
I got the email with the collateral.
Yes.
Is that, yes, I saw.
Did you get, I sent an email tonight with the golf collateral, just PDFs for you guys to kind of see where my brain is.
I didn't see it, Catherine. I'm sorry.
No.
I can't.
All right,
It's
let's
fine.
see. I've got it now, though.
Okay.
Yay.
So if you look at the flyer, I mean, I did make a few changes as far as layout, but
Flyer. Okay.
the graphic, we use the same graphic, the same, I didn't change colors or fonts or anything, but I did change some of the positioning. But I think it flows a little better.
Mhm.
I think it's wonderful.
And now for some reason it won't center. What the heck? My copy's like, okay, there we go. So what I did, so if you look at the postcard, I didn't change. I love this. I love the graphic on the postcard. I always have, and I like how it's placed. So I didn't screw with the front. But the back side, and if you need a reminder, we basically, I was trying to do it more as a sponsorship card with explanations and pricing and all that crazy. Instead this year, again, for grab and go, I basically used the bottom half of the flyer and used some of the same layout to replicate on the back side of the card. So basically, instead of a flyer that's going to be in the window, they can grab and have the exact same information in big, can't miss it. Here's our website. Here's the date. Here's the place. And they have to go out to the website to learn more.
Okay.
Right.
So now, should we have a QR code on the postcard?
I went back and forth about it because the problem I have with it is that was the whole reason of having the QR code last year was so that we didn't have to worry about putting the 50-foot long website on stuff.
Right.
And Pete doesn't understand it. So for him to try to go out and sell it or market it, it became very difficult for him because he couldn't tell him the website and he couldn't explain what a QR code was going to do for him. So I'm like, okay.
But it doesn't have to be big. It's just,
Now we have a very easy to remember website for this thing.
We do have a very easy website. And most of the guys, as far as, with the, I think most people are going to go out on their computer rather than their phone.
Yeah.
I had a very different feeling last year, and I feel very differently now because of the information, just the questions I was getting from the golfers. And granted, the majority of them were police officers. They only got the website. They didn't get the QR code in the letters. So, that's gonna, that's obviously some of what's driving it. But I think if we can make a point of making sure that wherever somebody's willing to hang a flyer, that they're willing to have a stack of the postcards for people to take with them.
Okay.
But like I said, if you guys feel like there needs to be a QR code, I can certainly put one on there.
Yeah. I think no bigger than a QR code has to be.
Yeah.
It's not going to cost us anything, and then you've covered both types of people.
I got it.
Pete doesn't have to try to explain it this year. He's just, there's a website, and somebody sees the QR code, says, "Well, Pete, I can just use that."
Yeah.
That knows.
Any thoughts on just looking at the layout where you think it should go? And do you want it on both? Since we're trying to mirror this.
I think I would.
Okay.
What do you think, Brian?
Um,
No, that's what I said.
yeah.
Oh. What if
Well-
we take, hang on a second. Let me share my screen
Okay.
so I can point.
Good.
Where's the button?
Button. Who's got the button?
Button. There we go. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Yes.
So what if it wouldn't have to be much smaller, but I could put another line like this on the other side of this, shrink it down. So it still has this format, but on the other side of this, there would be the QR code.
Okay.
And all it would be centered.
All right.
So-
That sounds great.
From here down you don't lose any of that. I feel like if we try to put something in here with it being off center, it's going to make it look funky.
Okay.
And I
That's
thought,
why not being the graphic designer guy, I would have just put it down there next to the website address. But I understand what you're saying. There has to be a synergy to it. Right?
yeah,
Synergy, right?
because if you put too many lines together, and I know nothing. Okay, I am a graphic artist idiot. So, but what I've learned is that if you put too much wording together, people won't read it. They skip over. They're just looking for bullet points, basically.
Right.
Yes.
So I've got more real estate in this section that I could drop this a font or two. It still wouldn't really, I don't think it will lose its pizzazz, and it would give me just enough real estate to drop a QR code right in there.
Okay. Whatever you think best is fine. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't have a chance to do that till Friday, till we get
That's
back.
right.
But I will work on that and then hopefully be able to get it over to Stephanie no later than Monday. But I'll send you guys both a copy so you can look at it.
Awesome.
Heather, I'm fine with whatever you do. I mean,
I appreciate that. But I also neither Bill or I found the typo that Don saw on the postcard last year. So I don't want to
okay,
be
good
another
point. We should
typo.
look for typos. Yeah.
Yeah, typos are bad.
Yeah. Typos are bad.
Let's see. Stop sharing. There we go.
Some typos are worse than others.
I get that. And I don't think this one was bad, but I just, in hindsight, going back and looking at it, I'm like, yeah, maybe we need to rethink that. I want to change as little as possible on the website just because.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wanted to clean that up. So are you guys, I guess I need feedback as far as, should we try to set up donor levels to make it, to kind of get people's heads out of.
Uh-huh. I like donor levels. I mean, I still think that we should have whole sponsors, obviously. But I mean, I'm fine with donor levels.
Well, like I said, we've got a donate page and then we've got the sponsorship page.
Yes.
So in what we've been putting, I've put the sponsor first responder last year on both. And
Right.
that was set at $105. And like I said, we did get some traction on it, but not much.
Right.
And we got a couple of random donations, but there again, but I think if, I hate to play to people's egos, but some people, like knowing that they're going to be listed as a bloody blah sponsor, or at that giving level.
Right.
I'm almost wondering if we need to drop it like starting at 25.
We're more that is more of an accessible price point. And, people won't be, it won't scare people off like 105
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. Well, and then we can put, name your price tool,
Right.
Progressive, we name your price tool. We stole Progressive name your price tool, so
You
we're
want,
just
you say you want to put a wheel in there and say, you can.
spend yeah, right. If I could figure out how to do that, I would totally do it. You owe And have that little sliver for $1 million. Click.
Whoa.
Oh, it's only 050. Okay, aren't you lucky?
Bankrupt.
Yeah, like I said, maybe if we do the like stair step at 25, 50, 75, 100 for quick click, just to get
Right.
people kind of, and then, you know, any amount, have an any amount button
Uh-huh.
there as well. Okay, I can do that. And then as far as the cool thing,
What about a hat sponsor?
a hat sponsor? What, to give the golfers hats?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Okay. So just,
I mean, you're talking at least $20 a hat
right.
because of just the minimums.
144. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Well, if somebody wants to spend that kind of money, we can talk to them, right?
We can totally talk about it. I'm thinking what I want to do is we did get $500 from AT&T FirstNet.
Yes.
We have that. I have that set aside to put into this year's budget, into the upcoming budget
Yes.
for the next golf tournament. So we have a little leeway. I
But
can either.
Are they not interested in what they were interested in last year?
I browbeat the guy for $500.
I know, but I mean,
I told it was so late I think it ended up coming out of his pocket.
oh, okay.
I really think I think he felt bad that I got screwed, and he was like trying to make. It's like, I can't believe your company can't cough up $500. Seriously, I was very aggressive. I was very upset with him, and so I told him when he did that, I wasn't expecting $500, but he sent it, and I said, well, you know what? I said, it's so late in the year. We had pretty much closed everything out. It was after the golf tournament. And I said, I will put this money aside for the 21 golf tournament. And I told him I'd get in touch with him to get artwork and whatever. I'm going to do my best to press him to see if he wants to double up,
Right.
for this year. But
He sounded so excited last year because that's what they wanted to do, right?
well, that was the first guy, but he wasn't the decision maker. And then he basically, he kept putting it off. Oh, this other guy has to make that decision. Da, 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 da. And when I finally got a hold of that guy, he was like, I don't know anything about this.
Oh.
Boy.
And I'm like, what do you mean you don't know anything about this? And I went back and sent him emails, and I'm like, you guys put me on the hook in, months ahead of this tournament. And now you're telling me you got nothing. I'm like, so yeah, it just went back and forth via LinkedIn, because that's how I found him. And so I'm kind of like the original person that said, hey, you need to call FirstNet. Let me hook you up. It was all, yeah, this sounds great. Yeah, this is right. This is exactly what we would like to do. So I'm going to try to broach him again. Like I said, my guess is I'm going to get a response of, well, we gave you $500 and you said you were going to put it towards this year. So just do that.
Sure. That's fine. Whatever we get is a bonus, right?
Well, and if
We already
that's
have a bonus.
exactly. So at that point, I'll make him website sponsor and life goes on.
There you go. What a great idea.
Yes.
So, at the end of the day, like I said, we'll make that work. The Cowart Insurance, I feel very confident that she's going to re-sign. We'll make more this year on that because we already have the bags. We have more than enough, but they all have her name on it.
Awesome.
So same with the Mulligan tickets. I'm hoping to work the same deal I did last year for the cookies.
Sweet.
So that's two things we don't have to worry about.
Marcine coming back?
I hope so. We haven't asked yet. The other thing we could do, like I said, if we can get someone to be a raffle sponsor, then that'll, even though we've got money set aside, we can use those monies to buy the grand prize or whatever it is that, or if we can find someone that makes a product that they want to give away.
Uh-huh.
That works too. But at least I know we have Mulligan tickets, the bags, and and potentially the closest to the pin with the golf club.
Mhm.
So, and like I said, reaching out to, do you have the list from last year, Tom, of who was in what position or who bought what sponsorships?
I believe so.
Okay, I can resend it if you need me to.
I do. If you sent it to me, I have it, and I think I think I had it otherwise.
Okay.
Um, keep going. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. That's pretty much it. Because I think the other thing I want to do is, I know there's the handful that Pete, talks to and works for, for their whole sponsorships. And I definitely don't want to step on those toes. But we got a lot of extra sponsors, just other contacts, not just who Pete farmed.
Right.
So,
We had quite a few of two sponsors a hole, one on the green and one on the hole, right?
yeah, I think we're going to need to cap it this year at 32 because I think we ended up having another hole sponsor at like the hole in one, which should be completely and only
Right.
the hole in one sponsor. Same thing with longest drive. So we need to watch that. Make sure we don't.
Couldn't we put I mean, this is funny, but couldn't we theoretically put if we needed to sponsorship signs in a bunker?
I don't know, because the thing is that unless they specifically go to that side of the fairway, or depending on where it is, people won't see it.
Yeah, there would be a bad optic there. You're in the bunker and you look
Yeah,
at it's their fault.
Yeah, exactly. And it's that would be my only concern. And I feel like you could probably do 2 hole sponsors a hole, but people are paying $150 to have their company promoted, for those, for them to be the center of attention for a minute.
Yeah.
And that's the only advertising they see. So, I mean, I want to honor that. And that's easy. That stuff is easy money because now we have everybody.
Right.
Yes.
I'll look at what we did last year. We had We had 19. So we only had a few that had to be doubled up.
Okay.
Which is good. So, but like I said, perfect world, I'd love to have one at the hole and one at the green. So, knowing we're going to have some holes that are part of the hole in ones, the par threes.
There's three par threes, right?
And those don't have sponsor signs. They just have, hey, if you hit a hole in one on this hole, you get this prize.
Right.
So it almost makes it look like they're sponsoring that hole. Like, thanks to this sponsor, you have a chance to win a hole in one over here.
Yes.
Well, can we sell that hole for more?
Potentially.
Like we're going to have a hole, the grand prize hole in one, right?
Yeah,
That's,
which is its own thing. That's why they're paying big money.
and then we have a $500 sponsor for each of the minor hole in ones. Does that sound reasonable?
That sounds interesting.
It
Right.
does sound interesting. I
Well,
think
Bill
maybe
think?
instead of 5, Bill took a late afternoon nap. He's a little fuzzy.
Okay.
So he was like, he's like, I gotta wake up. So, what if we do it at 300? Because if because if somebody's like, well, I have $150, I don't have 500.
All right, three,
Okay,
100.
but they could buy two. They could buy 2 hole sponsorships. They could have the if somebody wanted to spend $300, they can buy the hole and the green.
Yeah, and do the whole shot.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
This is just
One contest is $1,700. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with 5. Like I said, all we can do is try.
well,
And-
Fights, nobody fights.
Right. If we need to go down, we can go down a bit.
And I already know what the prizes are going to be, so I can promote that on the page.
Got it.
Now that would be a 500 and no golf.
And no golf.
Right.
Nobody gets golf unless they're spending over $1,000.
Right.
And even then.
Did you give Skip? What did we do for Skipper last year? Did he get
Skipper?
golf? Did he get golf and the lunch for 500?
He got two golfers, so basically cost me $100.
Right.
And then he got my last minute homemade tent cards on the tables to say thank you.
Right.
And that was all we did. Wasn't nearly what I had hoped or planned or wanted to do, but that was what we did in a pinch.
Right.
And those things were blowing all over the place.
What if we had just a thought here? What if we okay, yeah, we have a lunch sponsor. What if there was a dessert sponsor? I don't know. It just came out of my butt right now.
That
No,
kind
that's the idea.
of waters down your lunch sponsor.
What about a breakfast sponsor?
Well, that's
Yeah.
a good.
Yes.
Because what did they charge? They charged $7 last year.
Yeah.
It was like $7 for the buffet.
Yeah.
So you're looking potentially, because they had a ton of food left over.
Yes, it did.
Well, nobody knew. So
Well, that was my fault because they told us they.
wasn't your fault. It's their fault.
So
Well-
if we told them to prepare, if we could do the breakfast sponsor, we could do it reasonably. Let's say half the field buys breakfast because not
Right.
everybody's going to eat. Let's be
Right.
real. So that's $504. So that could potentially be that our $600 spot.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or $1,000 with golf.
Love the way you think.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's one of those, we can do it at 6, and then if they're like, well, we can make it work.
Oh yeah, well, that's a great
Yeah.
deal for them because we're at what's our registration this year? 125.
Did we agree to raise it?
I don't think we. I don't. We haven't talked about raising or keeping it the same. So
Yeah, I was going to leave it at 110 for a single, and then 100 a golfer.
Okay, even at 110.
works for me.
600 for a breakfast sponsorship or $1,000 with golf. That's still a good deal for them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that gives us $1,000. That, or even if I do it at like $950, so it sounds a little. I'd be willing to
Yeah, that's fine.
something like that, just
Uh-huh.
to.
But the sponsor we didn't have last year. I mean,
I know, and okay, cool. Yeah, because like I said, I took off some of the stuff like the blind putting and all of that because we're not gonna. With the way last year flowed, we're not gonna have time to do it.
No, nice. No.
So I want to keep it quick and easy.
We could save something like that for a blind driver at, say, a Topgolf event.
I saw something, and I can't remember now where it was, that it was talking about it was called Shot in the Dark.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't say what it was, but it was something you could come in. It was called Shot in the Dark, and it had
not anything associated with a John Grisham novel.
no, afraid not. So, but that's the kind of thing I would love to do. I don't know. Topgolf, I don't think has the simulators. I think they just have the range.
Right.
But golf, what was that place called? The place on Lawrenceville Swanee that has the room full of simulators where you can play whatever golf course you want.
Uh-huh.
That would be a neat event to do something like Shot in the Dark.
Yes.
Because there's no fear, like you're not going to go off a platform, you're not going to break your neck, and you're not going to hit anybody, hopefully.
And hopefully you're not going to break a screen.
True. No chucking.
I probably told you guys this before, but one of the coolest things we ever did, it was first year Thea and I were married, is the Kennesaw Mountain had a candlelight hike or moonlight hike down the mountain with the Civil War actors.
Oh yeah.
So you're holding a candle-lit lantern and you're walking down the trail, so you don't see much. It's all the smell and what you hear, and so it literally takes you back in time. I mean, your mind. It was really, really cool. Unfortunately, that was the last year they did it. But if you could do something like that, I mean, it'd be so cool.
I so wish there was an exhibit for many years at Atlantic Station that closed, that gave you the opportunity to experience being blind. And it's the most spectacular hour and a half. It was so mind blowing, because I kept trying to figure out, like, how are they going to do this? And I was terrified.
So it fit in with us doing
there is, I've heard of people do fundraisers, dinner in the dark.
Yep, I've heard of that too. There's actually a restaurant in I think it's in Vietnam, called Noir, and it's the staff. A majority of the staff is blind or deaf, but you eat in the dark. Right. Totally eat in the dark, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. So, it's hard to get a room dark enough, like, unless you're, like I said, it's really hard to get a room dark enough.
I went to Dahlonega one year to give a talk, and it was before Thea and I got married, so she came with me, and there was supposed to be a meteor shower that night. So we left Dahlonega. This is like 1991, right? We're headed down 400. I said, let's pull off of 400 a little bit, park the car, and see if we can see the meteors. So we pull off. I probably didn't drive a quarter of a mile, turn the car around, turn the lights off. We get out of the car and shut the doors. And as soon as I shut the doors, I said, oh my God, this was a mistake, because we couldn't see anything. Couldn't see the car. I mean, it was pitch black. We were nowhere near the lights.
Oh, no.
So, well, Brian, I'm sure you've been that way many, many times, but for somebody that has sight, I mean, it's just mind blowing.
Yeah, it's the first when they started lowering the lights, and then they're like, okay, and you've got a guide who's blind, and then they take you in the first room. I mean, there were 5 of us. I had a larger staff at the time, so I took everybody on my team. I used it as a team building exercise and kind of a fun outing. And we were wall hugging. We were holding on to each other. We're like, don't let go. Don't let go. Where are we going? Where are we going? Somebody be the leader. Somebody try to figure out where we're going. But it was fascinating. It was totally fascinating. And I have such appreciation. And I get mad now, like at the top, like today we went to Orange Beach as we were driving back. And there was the talking crosswalk. And we were crossing the main highway there at the beach. And it said it, and it was marked as a talking crosswalk. Well, she was a whispering crosswalk.
Yeah.
I've seen them in Savannah and other places where, I mean, you're like, man, that's, it's got to be loud. You got to hear it over the cars. You got to hear it over the trucks. And this thing was like, how is anybody going to know, where it is? Because I took 2 steps away from, into the crosswalk, and I couldn't hear it anymore.
It might be malfunctioning, because I've been to Orange Beach. And it was perfect. It worked, but no, that was 6 years ago. So
this was right in front of the Floribama Lounge. The light could have been drunk too, so I don't know.
Well, Catherine may need to get her ears checked. Yeah.
What?
Okay, that joke does not fly in my house. Bill does that to me all the time. Okay, I will leave you guys alone. This is great stuff. I will start putting it all together. And
what other thing?
Yeah,
Since we made that minor shift a few months back about how we were going to promote ourselves, should we change that tagline to say support our many visually impaired projects, or something more appropriate than that? That doesn't sound right, but you get what I'm saying?
or many community projects.
Well, it says many service projects.
Yeah,
But remember, we said that we were going to have a focus on vision.
Because it does say there and not are.
well, I was writing that from the standpoint of, sorry, I'm writing on the back of my flyer. Because none of this is written in first person, so I was keeping it in third person.
Okay.
So all proceeds go to the club to support their mini service projects. I'm happy, whatever you guys like, whatever you think would be the most appropriate. I'm totally okay with that.
Okay.
So if you guys want to let it marinate and let me know by Friday,
Okay.
the best way to.
We'll stew on that.
We just don't have the real estate. I can go into depth
I know.
on the website
Right.
if that's
Yeah.
what we need to do. And because now that we've got kind of this surge, this idea that here we go, because then I can kind of get into the Lions Club has 5 major initiatives. Our club has personally decided to take this on. And this is, I can, for people that want to stop and know these things, I can give them that information.
Okay. We probably having the Lawrenceville Lions Club in that line is probably redundant.
Gotcha.
Because we've already said it.
I think I was having trouble trying to figure out another way around it, like how to say it without being in first person.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to, and I may have even pulled that off of something else from years past. So I'm bad about stealing
Well,
stuff. All right. So I will mark that, and we need to come up with, because I think we do need to put on there that, we're not going out. We're not headed to Tahiti with the money.
Yes. Arriba.
Yeah. Because I want, the other project that I want to do is a 20-day raffle. My niece's soccer team does this every year. This is how they raise money to go to tournaments and buy equipment.
Mhm.
And you limit the number of tickets that you sell, so the people buying know that they're in a small pool, their chances of winning are greater.
right.
It's a higher price ticket. But when I ran the numbers, if we were to, and they do 600 tickets, and each of the soccer team players is responsible for selling 20 tickets.
All right.
So with that kind of math, you're looking at, what did I say? If say 15 of our members, the ones that are fairly active, we would, in order to get to 600, it would average out to 40 tickets a member. But I think if we have some opportunities where we can sell outside of just one-on-one, we could get there easily and it wouldn't be such a burden. But
Like if they sponsored a thing with the chamber or something.
yeah, so like I said, we could sell tickets at an event or something. I can get the license. But if we sell them at $20 a pop, that's gross proceeds of $12,000. The prize money total that we would give away over those 20 days would be $2,500, netting us about $9,500, less the cost of the printing of the tickets.
Right.
So it's the work of it really comes into, 1, selling them, and 2, somebody going on Facebook Live once a day and doing the drawing, and everybody sees. You have each person that buys a ticket has 2 chances to win. They can win a daily prize from day 1 to day 19. On day 20, all the tickets go back in the bucket for the grand prize.
Uh-huh.
If we change the ticket price to $25, that would bring us 15,000 in potentially if we sell it out.
Uh-huh.
We could up the grand prize to closer to 35, or we can play with the numbers as far as the daily prize limits and so on and so forth, but we could still net right around $10,000, $11,000.
Okay.
If you want to be clear, you want this to be a separate thing.
This needs to be totally separate.
Yeah, okay. I like it.
Totally separate. Because that, we could-
I sold I think we got $20 for the baseball one. I sold most of mine.
yeah.
So I would, I think I like that idea.
I know we're going to have some members that aren't going to sell.
Oh, yeah.
Just not going to. So like I said, that's the one thing we need to kind of figure out. But at the end of the day, it's the break even on the first scenario is like 125 tickets.
Uh-huh.
So that's not bad. To get at least to where, even if that's all we sell, we're not losing money
Right.
at the end of the day. So like I said, I'm working on the numbers and trying to see what potentially, like if we sell this or that, or do we lower the number of potential tickets? What does that do? What's our goal? What do we want to do with that money? So on and so forth. So whether we couple that, October is Vision Awareness Month. So if we do, the countdown to Vision Awareness Month, since we're going to already be at the Brave Stadium, we could be selling some raffle tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they won't mind.
If we sell enough tickets, they'll let us do whatever we want to do. Essentially, within reason.
Hey, I'm not talking about trying to sell them in the stadium. I'm talking about if we're tailgating, hey, we're,
Right.
put signs up, and if somebody asks about it, we can sell them a ticket. But if we do that, and then we can either hold it after the tournament, if we could do it in September, which was my thought.
Uh-huh.
There is some sort of, I think it's World Blindness Day is in September. World Blindness Awareness or something. I went and looked online, but trying to find something vision related that we could tie it to. And then we just would need to decide what we want to use that money for.
Okay.
And personally, I would put it towards spot screeners. Because $9,000 would buy approximately.
Cool.
So, like I said, my brain is working, or I'm just crazy, one of the two. Don't answer that.
It's the
I'm
genius.
not.
It's the genius.
No, there is no genius. I promise you. I promise.
There's what do they say? There's a fine line between genius and crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
And sometimes you might hit both. And I might have hit both. Okay, so I gotta tell both of you will laugh. I think. Okay, so this morning I wake up to a headline on Facebook that says Randy Quaid is thinking of running for governor of California.
Right.
You know who Randy Quaid is, right?
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I laughed hysterically.
Say what?
I said I laughed hysterically and then catch my breath. And then the campaign slogan hits me like a ton of bricks. Vote for Cousin Eddie for governor. Let's clean house because full. And then I start laughing.
And you was going to be a Cousin Eddie reference before you ever said.
Yeah.
I think that's from the
right. So I laugh even harder. Then I catch my breath and I have the crazy idea, is anyone using Cousin Eddie for governor .com as a website already?
Did you get it?
And I find, it's available for $9.
Did you get it?
Now I'm squatting on Cousin Eddie for governor.com at the moment. And I'm gonna figure out what to do with it.
Well, I think we can use it to raise money.
Well, actually, I mean, honestly, it is
We'll be our pack.
whether he runs or not, and I don't know whether he can do it or not, or even if it would be a joke. But even if he doesn't, it doesn't say what state. People would buy that from a novelty T-shirt.
Yeah, I thought he was living. I thought he was still in Canada.
I don't know where
all
he
the
is.
trouble he'd been.
I don't know.
That's crazy. Totally crazy. Well, you know, Caitlyn Jenner's put her name in the hat.
Yes. Yes.
So
Well, a friend of ours lives in California. What was his, um, G- Gender Jenner for governor or something like that. Transgender Jenner for governor. And she's like 90 years old. She told us that.
Wow.
yeah, I think the whole thing's going to get weird before it.
Everything is, it's already weird.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Well, we shouldn't have a problem with him being transgender. I mean,
It's not, I don't care. It's just, it's Bruce Jenner.
I know.
Like, I don't, if it's Caitlyn Jenner, it's just, it's not what they wear. It's who they are. They're not a political person. They're not I felt the same way when Arnold ran. I'm like, what? Why? He ended up being halfway decent, I think. But
I guess some of all this came from the fact that Jesse Ventura ran for governor of Minnesota. Back when I was a kid.
So did Sonny Bono.
Well, yes, and I have cousins in Minnesota, and they sent me bumper stickers. Our governor can beat up your governor, and so I'm like, if I can make a joke on a bumper sticker, it would sell.
I love that. That's fabulous. Well, if he's serious, I would call Vistaprint and start ordering Cousin Eddie for governor, and set up your Etsy site. I'm telling you.
Right. I said, okay, the worst as I'm out $9 and I had a good laugh at it. But I can turn it into something. It can be turned into something.
Brian, you might possibly make enough for the next 3 or 4 years to live on.
Who knows? We'll see.
Newsflash, hot off the presses. We got Rocky.
Cool.
Yay!
Just heard back from Cynthia.
Tell him you just heard applause.
Yeah. Great to hear from you. The date is open and we'd love to be there. You can put us down and I look forward to seeing the details. We're enjoying events opening up and players are too. Thanks so much and we can't wait.
And we're going to get him this year, right?
Huh? Yes.
Yes.
We're getting him. That's what she's like. We will be there.
Good.
Not that I have anything against Jay.
No, it wasn't that. It was, she realized last minute, because everything happened so last minute with him, that he had double booked. Yeah. So that's why he sent somebody else. So now all we need is Nature Boy.
Yeah, now we need Ric Flair. Then the money will start pouring in. Woo!
Did you reach out to your?
I did. I haven't heard back. Honestly.
Okay.
Do we have a sponsor for the mud wrestling?
No.
No. I don't know what they're doing over there, but they're tracking a whole lot of mud on the Decula Road.
Yeah.
It's pissing me off. If it had been, if I hadn't been involved in the golf tournament, I'd have called already.
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to thank you again for taking the time to help me think through all that. I think it's going to be even more awesome. I will, I guess, Tom, you and I need to start working on a letter to go out to, with sponsorship information, for this year. Maybe something we can just attach as a second page.
Okay.
That goes out with a letter thanking, thank you so much for your sponsorship last year, and I don't know if you want to do it as an email and we can attach if we ever. I've asked Andrew again for the video he created. I found my little 1.5 minute my 2 fire guys that gave me a little review that I took that day. So something maybe we can put together like a little marketing package. Like here's what we're going to be using on our social media. Here's what we're going to be using, just to kind of start putting all that together. So let me know what your thoughts on that are. So
you got your email from Andrew today, I guess, right?
Yes.
It was interesting.
Yes. And since this is being recorded, I'm going to leave it at that.
Well, okay. Yeah.
Good. Wait. Good point.
I honestly do think somebody on the board needs to respond to him and just say, we're working on it, and the board is working on it. We want it as much as you do, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have the food distribution coming. You could certainly be participating in the golf tournament.
well, and
Unfortunately.
like I said, had he been at the meeting last night, he would have known that we were picking up keys.
Yep.
So anyway,
All right. Thanks,
thank you,
Catherine.
guys.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All
You
right.
guys have fun.
All right. Good
All
night,
right.
everyone.
The journey home tomorrow, so we'll be
You're
packing up.
you're gonna do a video for YouTube on Buc-ee's while you're there.
No, not no way, not no how.
Well, you can hold the camera and let Bill do it.
Oh my. That has so many possibilities. I can't even think
There you
about
go. I look forward to seeing it. We'll
Yeah.
talk later.
it. Take care, guys.
Yes.
All right.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.